Hi,
Hello,
everybody.
hello, hello.
Well, hello, Urban League of Louisiana family. Now, I'm not sure if we look familiar to you, but if not, we will soon. You'll get used to seeing these faces for a little while. My name is Blair Dotton Haley.
And I'm Brandon Dotton Haley, and
We
we
are the
are
Blairisms collectively.
collectively known as the Blairisms. But we're really excited
Yeah.
because we have collaborated with the Urban League of Louisiana on an extraordinary project. Our goal here is to really make sure everybody knows exactly why it's so important to not only get out and vote this year, but also be a part of the ongoing movement to improve the quality of life for marginalized communities across Louisiana and abroad.
It is also Black Philanthropy Month.
Surely is.
August is Black Philanthropy Month. And in the spirit of Black Philanthropy Month, one of the things, one of the primary ways that they say, the founders of Black Philanthropy Month say that you can contribute, celebrate, and be a part of Black Philanthropy Month is donating and participating in
And joining.
joining Black led movements.
Mhm.
And so the Urban League being one of the communities foundational, hallmark, legendary, iconic 85, 86-year-old
They've been around.
movements, who better to join forces with in a time like this to do the work that we all know is necessary. And so we're excited to be here tonight.
Yep.
We have a great panel of folks to talk to, some extraordinary Black women who are here, who have taken their time to join us. But first, I want to bring on the vice president of the Louisiana Urban League, vice president of partnerships, our dear brother, Tyrone Walker.
Y'all, welcome everybody. Tyrone Walker.
What's up, y'all? How's it going?
Great, brother. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm good. It's good to see y'all. Thank y'all so much for hosting this and kicking off our membership drive month, and of course doing it during Black Philanthropy Month.
We're excited to. We know that you are still recovering probably from the DNC, reeling, but still also extremely pumped up and excited about what is to come over these next few months. But even more than that,
we want to let you go ahead and say whatever you had planned to say to the people.
Yeah, well, first, you're right. I've really enjoyed my time at the DNC, but that had absolutely nothing to do with my role as the vice president of Urban League of Louisiana, since we're a nonpartisan organization. But in my personal capacity, absolutely was there and enjoyed all the things. Look, this is as Blair and Brandon said, Black Philanthropy Month is an awesome time for us to remind ourselves not only about organizations that we want to invest in, but it's an amazing time for us to remember, first and foremost, that African Americans per capita give more of their personal wealth away than any other group in America. Let me just say that one more time. African Americans, the studies show, give more of their wealth away per capita than any other group. And which means is that while our families and our communities for a long time, don't know and probably didn't describe a lot of this stuff as philanthropy, they have been doing it for a long time, which is giving of our time, our treasures, and our gifts for causes that are important to us, that are outside, that don't benefit us directly, but benefit the larger community and the issues that we care about. The African American community in this country has an incredible legacy of philanthropy. We give primarily through our churches. We give through our civic organizations, fraternities, and the like, and sororities, and a whole host of civic and other nonprofits. And so this is our opportunity to bring folks together in this Black Philanthropy Month to remind Black philanthropists in the state of Louisiana that the Urban League of Louisiana is here, and we could be a great repository for your philanthropic giving. But we also I'm excited about what we'll talk about later today. But I think Blair and Brandon did a really good job of helping us think about using this time together, not just to talk about the Urban League at a macro level about what we do, but to show it, right? And so we're going to have a good time today talking about down the ballot races across the state of Louisiana and why our people should be focused on it. And they'll give us an opportunity to not just talk about what we do at the Urban League of Louisiana, but what we have been doing for 86 years. One of the areas of which has been to ensure that that we have an unprecedented voter protection and voter advocacy and voter engagement for Black people in the state of Louisiana. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm going to turn it back over to Brennan, or I think Blair.
Blair's just trying to grab us some water.
You're like the same person.
Because we're going to be talking today. This is definitely one of these events that we're really excited about, because not only is this going to be a really great conversation, but we've got some just important, vital information for everybody across Louisiana. So I hope anybody who is listening to my voice, if you're in the state of Louisiana or know somebody in Louisiana, that you also share this live with them and make sure that we're all aware of what's going on across the state and aware of what the Urban League is doing to improve the quality of life for everybody in the state of Louisiana.
Thank you, Tyrone. We will talk to you later, brother.
Looking forward to it.
All right. So thanks so much, Tyrone. Mm-hmm. We're gonna let's get the party. Tyrone kind of got it kicked off. Let's get it started.
Yep.
Talking about what are the races that
what is actually happening. Well,
let's go.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna start right here. Everybody in Louisiana, let's first start by making sure that you know when is Election Day. All right. So first up, we have November 5th.
Which is a very important day.
Very important day.
Remember the 5th of November.
Yes.
So if you remember that line.
Remember the 5th of November.
You will if you are planning to go, if you're one of those folks who likes to go on Election Day and pull the lever live,
right in your,
make sure you start making your plans now for the 5th of November.
Think about transportation. Think about taking the time off from work if you need to. All of the consider babysitters if you need to, all of the things you need to be putting into place to make sure that you are prepared and ready to go in there and vote on November 5th. Now,
yes,
one of those other things is December 7th. There is a follow-up to the main, if you will, or one of, I guess, the first election on November 5th. There will be additional seats and ballot initiatives and measures up on December 7th. So make sure that you're also prepared for that Election Day as well. You need to make sure, though, by October 7th that you are registered. That is, that's the date, y'all. So,
and here's the thing. I know that the group of folks that we are talking to are already civically engaged, likely already registered, already have a plan. But we wanted to run through these particulars in the event that somebody asks you and you don't know exactly.
Or you talk to your cousin and you find out that they don't have a plan.
Exactly. Because Election Day is typically around my birthday, I always have a plan very, very early. And so I don't necessarily think about figuring out when Election Day is because it's always around such an important day for me. But for other people, it may not be that way. So this is us also giving you ammunition so that when you may be asked about these dates or proselytizing to others, younger people, or even some older folks who may not be interested in voting, these are the dates that we need to target.
Yep. All right, y'all. So just remember, election date November 5th and then December 7th. You need to be registered. If you are registering in person and they've got new sites across the city of New Orleans that will help you register by October 7th, you can also register online. You need to do that by October 15th. If you are mailing in your registration, just make sure that it's postmarked. That means in the mailbox, stamped by October 7th. All right. Wait, you're going too fast.
Sorry.
Nope, no.
Well, it's been up on the screen, so people
it's fine. All right. Well, let's run through because as you can see, there's also absentee information as well. So if you plan to not be there or you can't make it, you need to make sure that your absentee ballot has been mailed in and received by November the 4th. All right. So again, make sure it's out. It's in the mail, postmarked. All right. So let's talk about the elections that are coming up in the actual races. So first up, we have
the presidency, right? This is an election year.
National.
It's 2024. We see here are all of the main candidates for each party and the independent candidates. We've had one drop out
over the last week.
But this conversation is really about why the other races are so important, because there's so much emphasis and so much put around the presidential candidates at the top of the ticket. We need to make sure that the down the ballot is handled with the exact same, and if sometimes even more care and attention and concern.
So if you don't know which district you currently live in, here is a map to help you out. And again, this is for everybody in the state of Louisiana. So down here in the south, you got District 1, District 2 coming through New Orleans, all the way up at the top. You've got 4, 5. Everybody, if you know where you are in the state, find out using this map. This is right here. Yep. All right. So again, all of the congressional seats, that's the House of Representatives, are up this year. That's 400 plus representatives across the whole country. But if you are in District 1, District 2, District 3, every one of your representatives is up for election. So make sure that you know who is currently running in your district. We'll run right through that one more time. District 1, District 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
I definitely learned something while we were doing research for this. I definitely did not know that there was a candidate in running in our district or against the incumbent in our. I had no idea.
Things you learn. All right. In addition to the congressional seats, there are also state executives that are currently up for election. And this is important because I saw this. This is one of the things that I learned. Because I said the Public Service Commissioner, who is that? What do they do? So the Public Service Commissioner, as somebody who has just started paying utilities here in the state of Louisiana, this was something that's very interesting and important to me. The Public Service Commissioner is the person who has complete and absolute authority to take action and regulate and ensure the safe, reliable, and reasonably priced public utilities. That's water, gas, electricity for most of Louisiana, y'all.
That's a lot of power.
That is a lot of power. So when we talk about the importance of getting to know who is running, what they're doing, and what are some of these initial other seats and what's happening, this is why it's important, because this is straight up in your pocket. This person determines and sets prices for utilities, y'all. And it, like it says, absolute, y'all. This is They set the tone.
Entergy, just never mind.
No, we're not even going to talk about it.
Go ahead.
All right. So next up, we have a Supreme Court judge here in the 2nd District who will be ending their term. So if you did not know, in Louisiana, Supreme Court justices have a 10-year term limit. So at the end of this year, Scott Crichton will be finishing up his term, and as you'll come to find, a lot of the judges who have to run for re-election, or several other seats also throughout this that have to run for re-election, sometimes they end up running unopposed, and to save us time, energy, and money, they just go ahead and get the win early on.
Acclamation.
Exactly. So we have quite a few judges who, again, have to run, but probably don't necessarily need to, or have already been declared the winners of their seat by acclamation. We'll call they say the election has been canceled. Yep. All right. So there are 3, however, judges that do have to run against somebody. So again, these are across the state. So you have your 1st Circuit Court of Appeals in the 2nd District, the 3rd Circuit Court in the 2nd District, and then there's another one up in Baton Rouge. So again, these are judge seats, appellate court seats that are currently up for election. Now, again, there are additional ballot measures, things that you need to be aware of that are on the ballot. These have everything to do with appropriation of funds, creating new fees for people. I actually found out that the residents of Mid-City and the Lakeview area have a new ballot initiative for increased security. So if you have a property in the Mid-City area, they are looking at levying a fee I think it's a levy an annual fee. It's a flat fee per parcel. So again, think about if you own multiple properties across Mid-City, these are some initiatives that you need to be aware of. And I think that just about covers it for the November 5th and the December 7th elections. There are, again, a number of judges and congressional seats and initiatives across the state. If you have any questions or if you are not sure about whether or not you are registered to vote, you can go to the Louisiana Secretary of State's website to check your voter registration status and to also register to vote to make sure if you are not and find out that you're not currently registered. Woo!
No. Take a
no. I need that.
All right. So let's get our guests in the room. I mean, I am so excited to have with us tonight two extraordinary women, both extremely accomplished, both extremely activist in their own right.
Yeah.
And I mean, for them to take their time out tonight to join us on a Monday night, one of them traveling, working. I mean, just that we're so grateful. So let's just go ahead and get them in. I want to bring to the stage the vice managing partner of Phelps Dunbar LLP, our dear big sister, the extraordinary Kim Boyle.
Hello, everybody, and thanks, Blair and Brandon, for that phenomenal introduction. Your check will be in the mail later on.
I will be looking.
Pew, 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 pew.
I'll be looking for it. Thank you so much for taking time to join us. We're so grateful.
Of course, this is so important, so I'm honored to do so.
Thank you so much.
And next up, all right, so she is the president of the Urban League of Louisiana's Young Professionals, y'all. Like, she's already running the show, leading things. She's
already a Black woman president.
Already a Black
woman.
How about that?
Okay.
But she's also an extraordinary activist in her own right, as Blair mentioned. She's doing all kinds of things across the city, improving the quality of healthcare for people and just making sure we all live long, healthy lives, y'all. Everybody, please welcome Dr. Crystal Hooker to the stage.
Thank you all so much for having me here tonight. I'm looking forward to this impactful and empowering conversation as well.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Awesome. All right, so we will. Oh, we want to bring Tyrone back in? Let's do that.
Tyrone back in.
Oh, no, he's just shaking.
No?
Okay. All right.
He said no. Okay.
Well,
okay.
Wonderful.
Okay. Sorry about that.
All right.
Okay. So, welcome everybody. Thank you so much. I want to ask you before we get into kind of your own personal stories. Hearing Brandon run down the races and the ballot initiatives and the judges, and tell me I want to hear what your initial reactions or thoughts are hearing the specifics about not only the presidency that's up for but all of the different races down the ballot. What are your initial reactions, Kim?
Well, I have very strong initial reactions. As you guys know, I am a lawyer. So who's elected to a judgeship, whether it's a district court judge, appellate court, the intermediate appellate court, or the Louisiana Supreme Court, is extremely relevant to all of our lives. Many of us think that judges are kind of over in a box and they don't really impact what happens to us on a day-to-day basis. But I'm here to tell you, who's elected to the bench, who's appointed to the bench, impacts us, impacts the African-American community, impacts the overall community on a day-to-day basis. It impacts our ability to vote, whether or not people are illegally putting in voting restrictions that they should not be doing. It impacts our economic welfare, whether or not judges are striking down laws that allow us to make more money, be it through the minimum wage or what have you. It impacts our benefits. It impacts, even if you look at federal appointed judges, it even impacts whether or not we have a two-tiered system as to who can be prosecuted. You have a federal judge in Florida who dismissed the classified documents case against the former president of the United States. Would that have happened if that was not the person who it is? And I won't say his name.
Yep.
So I think it is critical for us to understand every election counts, every race counts, every vote counts. We're seeing smaller and smaller voting margins in these important races as we go on, which
Absolutely.
means every single vote counts.
That's
And I
right.
have absolutely no patience for those members of our community who do not take the 10 minutes to go out and vote. So yeah, I have strong feelings about that, Blair and Brandon.
I want to ask you a quick follow-up
Sure.
to that before I hand it over to Crystal to answer that question. Where can, because, just like you said, oftentimes, the most that people hear about in the election season are the congressmen and the
Right.
city council or what have you. But where can people go, and how can we encourage and direct people to learn the kind of judge that they're getting before they vote, right? Because a lot of people
That's a
go
great
into the
question.
booth and they see names, and without commercials or without information about the way that this judge views the law, how can a regular ordinary citizen find out about what this judge is about before they go into the booth?
Well,
That is a great question, Blair. I'm sorry, Brandon, you were asking
No,
something else?
go ahead.
That's a great question, and I would say a few things that we can do. First of all, these days, in the era of social media, in the era of LinkedIn, in the era of all of us having our various businesses and associations on the internet, you can first look up someone and kind of see what they've been associated with throughout their career. So if you look me up, you will see bar associations, but you will also see on my firm's website that I've been involved in a number of civic associations. That won't necessarily tell you how I would rule because, one, we're supposed to rule based upon the facts and the law. So we start from that premise for any judge based on the facts of the law. But you can kind of get an idea of who a person may be, what their interests are, what their various prisms may be. On top of that, a lot of associations have debates and kind of town hall meetings where the candidates can be exposed to the public. So in the past, the various Martinet societies across the state of Louisiana, and Louis Martinet was a civil rights pioneer. So those are associations of African American lawyers. They will host kind of an open forum or a town hall meeting when you have hotly contested judicial races. And then third of all, guys, look, and I'm speaking as someone who has a lot of gray hair, who's about to be 62 years old, but we got to go back to learning to read the paper and read what's being written about candidates that run for office. Whether it's a judicial race, a congressional race, a senatorial race, we can't just get all of our news from TikTok. We can't just get all of our news from Facebook or Instagram. We have to go back to reading various papers, not just reading NOLA.com, but reading the New Orleans Tribune, reading Data, reading the Weekly. We have to get our news from a variety of sources where we can then make an informed decision.
That's a word.
Pass the collection plate. And while it's being passed, I want to I have to take this moment, since you brought up the Martinet Society, to congratulate you on the 2024 Lifetime Achievement Award.
Thank you so much.
I'm excited to be there to celebrate it with you.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to receive that because you know all the giants that have received that Lifetime Achievement Award. I'm nowhere in their arena, but I'm honored nonetheless by Martinet. Thank you so much, Blair and Brandon.
Very, very, very well deserved. Dr. Crystal.
Yes. So for me, with a background in education, I would love to, and actually that's what the young professionals will be doing. The Urban League of Louisiana Young Professionals will be focusing on that voter education because it's so important to ensure that our young professionals, and actually all professionals, have the tools and the resources so that they can make, just like Kim stated, those informed decisions because it's definitely important. It's definitely needed as well. And that is some programming that we have in September and October coming soon. Stay tuned for that, everyone, so that the young professionals can understand everything about the candidates. Just perfect example. Last year, before I was elected as Urban League of Louisiana Young Professionals president, I was speaking to some college students and just asking them, are you registered to vote? And they shared, oh, yes, I'm registered. I'm registered. And then I said, well, are you voting in the upcoming election? And they said, what election?
Oh,
For
no.
president?
Oh, no.
That was
There it is.
a shocker for me.
Oh,
I said, no, we have elections for the governor and there's some other position seats that's coming up for election as well. Yeah. And they said, oh, well, I'm probably not going to vote for it. I'm just going to wait until president. And so that's why, that was actually one of my reasons why I wanted to run for Urban League of Louisiana Young Professionals president, to make sure that I'm educating the young professionals out there, the young adults out there, because they don't know, and just to make sure.
And unfortunately, honestly, a lot of older professionals and older.
That is true.
Everybody's not a professional, and that's fine too. But there are a lot of people who are able to vote, who want to be civically engaged, but are still underinformed, and it's not because of lack of interest in being informed. Listen, like we were talking about earlier, it takes a lot of time and energy and effort to keep your light bill paid and your water bill paid and your bill paid. And so doing your daily reproduction often takes so much of our time and energy. And don't talk about if you're a family with children and school and all of those kinds of things.
It's like voting is a whole part-time job.
It's like being an informed voter with all of those different initiatives, and it's daunting, and sometimes it, I think, will make people shut down, which is part of why when we were having our conversation about what this event should be about, we thought, let's take some time to actually talk about the down ballot, because that is such a missed, overlooked conversation, especially in a year such as this, where there's so much attention about the top of the ticket. There's so much fervor around the top of the ticket, when an appellate court judge might be the difference between one of these appellate court judges might be the difference between life and death for somebody's family that is in your family, or that you know, or for one of us. And so that's why we really wanted to just to underscore what you both have said, wanted this conversation to be about the down the ballot and the importance of it.
So I have to ask you, Crystal, I'm really curious about the hopefully successes that you've had and initiatives that you are deploying to get these voters mobilized. Like, what are some of the things that we can learn from you and start to enact in our own communities and our own families about how to get people engaged, how to get people mobilized?
Please teach us.
No problem. Great question. I always like to use the method, teamwork makes the dream work. You can't do it all alone. Work with others. And as the Urban League of Louisiana Young Professionals, we are supporting the affiliate, the Urban League of Louisiana, with their second annual Black and Brown voter registration drive. And we will have that will be held on Saturday, October 5th. And it will be in all of the different regions across the state of Louisiana. And the YPs will be out there. Last year, I participated. I did phone banking. They had some others doing canvassing as well throughout the communities. And that's just one way. Also working with other organizations for those voter registration drives as well, just to get everyone registered to vote. Also, those panel discussions on voter education and having everyone understand and really unpacking the impact of voting and the elections and everything coming up, and how that will change and make a difference in your life as well, and so that you can make those informed decisions when you do go to the polls. So those are some of the things that we are doing. Definitely a lot of partnerships with voter registration drives coming soon, the second annual Black and Brown voter registration drive, and also though that voter education panel discussion. We will have one in September in the Baton Rouge area and one in the New Orleans area in October as well. So that there, and it will be also available hybridly. So anyone across the entire state of Louisiana can just join in, hop on the Zoom call as well. If you can't make it, let's say you're at work and you can't make it to any of these locations, you can hop on the Zoom call. We will make sure that we are being inclusive of everyone as well, so that this information gets out, so that we can drive this impact across the state of Louisiana.
Love that.
And you made me think about something when you said that this recording, this program will be saved on the Urban League of Louisiana's YouTube.
It is.
Oh, so great.
Folks who are
that's amazing.
That's
for
awesome.
Folks who are not able to watch it, we can do mass emails of this. We can send this out to our family, to our friends, so that they can, even if they catch parts of this conversation and listen to parts of this conversation, that we'll be able to get some of it after. Kim, I want to ask you, similar to Crystal, because there's apathy on both in multiple generations of voters. There's apathy in young people who are just able to vote, and I often talk about how large a population of new voters there is, but so many of them are so disconnected and so apathetic. But there are also folks who have either not voted for in their whole life, or decided a long time ago they weren't going to be voters, or people who used to vote who have become apathetic. Talk to us about, or what is your message to the older apathetic voter?
I guess my message is voting is the simplest thing that we can do to ensure that our democracy survives. It's the easiest, it's the quickest, and the simplest. So to me, there's absolutely no excuse for not spending the 10 or 15 minutes to vote. But on top of that, for us as African Americans in these United States, in this state of Louisiana, where so many people, including Blair, your iconic grandmother, so many people gave their lives. They literally gave blood, sweat, and tears and their lives for us to be able to vote. I think it is horrible for someone not to understand the import of our ability to vote and to exercise your ability to vote. During the National Urban League Conference last month, and I know you guys were there, and we all attended the Reclaim Your Vote rally at Xavier University. And when Dr. Dyson spoke, when he went through all these civil rights icons, he focused on Harriet Tubman. And he said she had a Bible in one hand and a gun in another. And she literally had to drag many of our people to freedom. Well, that's kind of how I feel now. We have to drag our people out to vote. We have to get on them. We have to let every family member know, if you're not registered, inexcusable. You're not coming to the family barbecue. If you're not voting, inexcusable. You're not coming to the family birthday party. It is inexcusable for you not to exercise your right to vote. So those of us who know better, those of us who are chronic voters, those of us who understand the import of voting, to go back to Crystal's point, we have to work to educate the entire community, and sometimes bring them kicking and screaming, but get people to the polls to vote.
Yeah, it is so important and so worth those hard conversations, those difficult, those moments of contention
Right.
that may
Yes.
arise around voting and around engaging in voting.
And you know what? You just might have to wear them down, and that's going to be what it
Yes.
is.
But start now.
Yes.
But
Start now.
Exactly.
One of the things, a couple years ago, we worked with, and wait, before I talk about that, I want to shout out, because you mentioned my grandmother. Thank you.
Of course.
Castle Haley. She was teammates, as you said, teamwork makes the dream work. Teammates in the movement with the father of Judy Reese Morse, Chuck Reese, who
Yes.
I got to spend a moment with and share some space with during the Urban League conference when we were all together.
So
and it was
all full circle.
It was one of the most special moments
Yes.
was the chance that I got to talk to Baba Chuck. And so what I was going to say is, a couple years ago, in partnership with some folks that we all know, as a matter of fact, Jade Brown Russell is the chair of the board of the Louisiana Urban League. We did some work with her organization and Maroon. And
Yes.
During 4th of July weekend, we convened the Living Freedom Riders to have a conversation with them about their legacy, about what they see now, and about where we're going. And Baba Duck, Jerome Smith,
icon.
gave us a call to action. And the call to action was that he said, everyone within the sound of my voice should do whatever they can to make sure that everyone that they know is registered to vote.
Yes.
And that everyone that they know is registered to vote, and that everyone that they know is registered to vote. That is our call. His call to action as one of the remaining living freedom riders. And so, as you mentioned, Kim, that is one of the lightest lifts of activism, of civic engagement, of social participation, is taking the time to go and push the lever.
Absolutely. And making sure that our friends and our family members are also pushing it too.
No,
Amen.
As the president of the Urban League of Louisiana's Young Professionals, I'm curious about that ongoing commitment, right? Because your commitment and the movement is going to go beyond this upcoming election cycle. So can you talk to us about why it's so important and why it was important for you to join the movement, actually become a member, an active member and an engaged member of the Urban League?
Well, actually, I've always wanted to join the Urban League of Louisiana Young Professionals. Actually, back then it was the Urban League of Greater New Orleans Young Professionals. I joined June 2018, and I attended what was called an On the Money Tuesday about financial literacy. I was interested. I was during that time about to purchase a home. And I wanted to learn more about financial literacy. So I went and attended, and right then and there, I knew this was an organization for me. This was the organization to ensure that I am also giving back to my community. I'm driving that impact, whether it's for anything with financial literacy, with empowerment, community outreach, personal and professional development, networking. I wanted to make sure I was a part of that impact within the state. So that's why as soon as that On the Money Tuesday was over, I completed my application and paid my membership dues. Ever since then, I've been a part of the community outreach committee. During COVID, we passed out masks in front of the headquarters once a month on Saturdays. I was driving that impact. Then I was over communications. I was the communications secretary for 2 terms. And then I became the president of this chapter. And it has just taught me so much about just driving the impact and just working with the community, working with the affiliate, working with the guild that's our 41 plus individuals as well.
Okay.
So just working with all of those entities to ensure that we are being intentional to contribute to the community, to drive the mission of the Urban League of Louisiana, to also focus on personal and professional growth within our members and within the community as well. that passion for leadership and just be inclusive as well for everyone. Not just our members, but everyone as well. And just making sure that we are working towards a commitment to building a stronger community together. And after the election, we will still work to drive all of those initiatives. We're still making sure that we are being out in front in the community. We're focused on that personal and professional development, not only for our members, but for others as well. We're focusing on workforce and economic development, all of the centers of excellence. Actually, before I became president, before I took office, I revised our bylaws to ensure that we were aligned with the Urban League of Louisiana Centers of Excellence, focus on that workforce and economic development, focus on education, youth development, because we have to make sure that we're developing and having that impact within the K through 12 education system and post-secondary as well. Also, focus on policy and social justice also. So I made sure that the bylaws were revised before I even took office, so that everything that we're doing is with great intention for not only for the young professionals, but across the entire state of Louisiana.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
Crystal, I'm too old to be a young professional, but you just made me want to sign up to be young.
Well, you can join the guild. You
No, I
can join the
will.
guild. We have a lot of
I'm just
partnerships.
saying, I listen.
I feel
if
like I
that
should go
was
ahead and
not-
join the young
right, if
professionals
that
while
was
I still
not-
got some time left.
Listen,
Come
if
on.
you know that pitch and that impassioned why and did not want to immediately sign up, check your pulse.
Exactly.
Because I was like, okay, where's the link?
I don't know. That's the thing. Especially when
Crystal, I'm in at almost 62. I'm in.
Listen.
there you go.
Come on, we need all the members, and we recently had a networking event for the young professionals and the guild called Generations in Motion, an evening of unity and networking, and we spend the time networking with professionals and individuals of all ages, 21 and above, of course, just to learn more about them, build those connections, because you don't know where that connection and that relationship will take you and take your career, or to drive further impact within the community.
Before I ask you what I want to ask you, Kim, thank you, Tyrone. I inverted Judy's husband and her father's name. Baba Claude is her father and Chuck is her husband. I got that confused going too fast. Kim, I got to ask you,
Sure.
This is Black Philanthropy Month, and we talked about the importance of Black philanthropy and Black Philanthropy Month. And I don't know, I know other folks may not know this or may know this, and I know this, that one of your other titles is chair of the board of the Amistad Research Center.
Thank you very much for that shout out, Blair. Right on point.
So I would love to because that is such an important.
Kim is a real philanthropist, y'all.
There is such an important part of our community is the guarding and the guardianing of our history,
guardianship,
the stewardship. I'm thinking about, y'all know what I'm talking about. Protecting our history, making sure that our history is secure, that it is passed down, all of the things that it is treasured, it's valued, that is able to be taught in our schools. I mean, all of the things that we are fighting. So Kim, thank you, one, for doing that important work, but talk to us about that and the importance of Black philanthropy this month.
Well, Blair and Brandon, I really appreciate that shout out for the Amistad Research Center. And as you said, Blair, I've been chair of our wonderful board for a number of years now. You guys have been so gracious in supporting the Amistad in multiple ways. But you hit the nail on the head, Blair, when you talked about the fact that the Amistad is focused on the preservation of our collections, our history, who we are as a people, the struggles that we've been through, as well as our triumphs. And bottom line is, I think, to use Crystal's point of education, if we and I'm an elder, you guys are much younger than me, but if we as elders can do a better job of educating our young folks about who we are, what we've accomplished, what struggles we've been through. But even going through those struggles, we have still triumphed. I think that helps. The other reason why we're here tonight in getting people excited about voting and getting people to understand what the import of voting is. These are not just stacks in a library where it's, some person someone may not have heard about in 50 years. We have living, breathing documents. We have letters from Fannie Lou Hamer talking about her work in the early 1960s, trying to get Black folks in Mississippi and Louisiana to be registered to vote. We have films and videos showing what people actually had to go through, being beaten, their lives threatened, just to exercise their constitutional and legislative right to vote. So I think if people would come to the Amistad, support Amistad, see what treasures we actually have, even putting stuff like voting to the side, we have original sculptures of Elizabeth Catlett. Now, if you, as a person of color in this country, don't know the significance of Elizabeth Catlett, one of the foremost artists of any generation, but an African American woman, you need to run down to Amistad first thing tomorrow morning. So all of these things, Blair and Brandon, to your point, my nonprofit philanthropic work is all tied in together in various ways. It may not seem like the Urban League is tied to Amistad, but it is. It may not seem like that work is tied to the work I do on Dillard's board, but it is. All of my philanthropic work represents things that I strongly believe in. Us as African Americans, our triumphs, our education, our rights, our obligations, our ability to persevere, but not to let someone else take away our rights. All of those things are tied together. And that is why the programming that Urban League of Louisiana is doing tonight, you guys hosting, Crystal, Tyrone, Liam's involvement, that's why all of this is so important in us recognizing the import of Black Philanthropy Month.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Well said.
Well said, KMB. Miss Kim, you are truly an inspiration.
Thank you.
So we are about to kind of wrap up this portion of our night. Thank you so much. But before we do let you go, and we have a very special message from someone very special that we're going to hear from once the panelists have gone. But I want to ask you, what is your, as both members and supporters of the Urban League of Louisiana, we are both celebrating, as I mentioned, Black Philanthropy Month, but also really encouraging people to join the movement of the Urban League, both folks who have either been connected to the Urban League in the past and are not, and have maybe their membership has kind of fallen off, or they just haven't come back on officially, but also for new people or for new folks like us who have been in the orbit of the work of the Urban League for years, but had not officially joined the movement
until very recently.
And so we are encouraging other folks. I want to give you all a minute, a moment or so to give your final call to action.
Crystal?
Okay, sure. So honestly, as we celebrate Black Philanthropy Month, it's important to always recognize the power that we have to uplift and empower our communities through a collective action and through giving. I think that membership within the Urban League of Louisiana, whether it's Urban League of Louisiana, Urban League of Louisiana Young Professionals, or Urban League of Louisiana Guild, is more than just joining an organization. It's a commitment to making a meaningful impact. So through our work, we can harness that spirit of giving our time, our talent, and our resources to support causes that matter to us. So let's come together, create opportunities for growth, advocacy, and empowerment within our community. So everyone, your membership is a vital part of this movement. Help us drive this change and foster a legacy of giving that will benefit generations to come. Thank you.
Amen. Amen, Crystal.
Amen. Please.
Guys, I'll just end by where I normally start when I make a determination as to supporting an organization. I always go back to the mission statement of the organization. And the mission statement of this organization, Urban League of Louisiana, is to assist African Americans and other communities seeking equity to secure economic self-reliance, parity, power, and civil rights. What can be more important to our community? What can be more important to us? So to me, that says it all. Why I support the Urban League of Louisiana and the Urban League, the National Urban League. This is what we should be doing. This is what we are mandated to do. And if we're not doing it, shame on us. If things don't go the way they're supposed to go at the polls, shame on us, because we have the ability to step up and do something. If we don't take that opportunity, shame on us. So this is why I support the Urban League of Louisiana.
That is a whole word.
Wow.
Kim, Crystal, thank you both
so
thank y'all
so much.
This was awesome.
Sharing your brilliance, your advocacy with us tonight, your gems of wisdom with us tonight, but more importantly, for all of the work that you do to lift our community, to teach, to inspire, to, I mean, thank you so very much. Thank you so much, so much. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's an honor. Crystal, wonderful to see you.
Yes, same
Great
here.
to see you, Blair and Brandon.
So good to see you all always. And we can't wait to see you all at our in-person event that we're going to have at the end of September. We're going to make sure that you're both there. We're going to make sure you're both there. Thank you so much.
Send the invite. Send the invite.
Wait for it.
All right.
All right.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank y'all so much. We are now going to have a very special greeting message about the importance of voting down the ballot from another extraordinary Black women running the night.
It's their time, y'all.
We are honored to have a special pre-recorded message just for tonight from the founder of Black Voters Matter, the inspirational, the extraordinary,
the iconic,
and our dear sister, Latasha Brown. Hold on. Hold on 1 second.
All right.
Another screen.
Let's
Okay, we're gonna do one. The good thing is we have. Hold on. Yep, perfect. Let's do it that way.
Right.
Hey y'all, this is Latasha Brown of Black Voters Matter. Normally, because it's an election cycle, I would say y'all need to run me my ballot, but we've got to take it to the next level. We've got to run the entire ballot. What does that mean? We've got to start at the top of the ticket and run it all the way down. Local races do matter. They make the difference. What we know is that as people are coming at our community, we've got to show back up. We got to show up and show out. And part of doing that is to make sure that we inoculate ourselves by electing folks locally that are going to protect our interests and to protect us in our states. We know that Louisiana is one of the states that actually, because of the racial gerrymandering, like literally there's a new congressional seat and other seats that have been developed. We've got to show up and show out to make sure that we're demonstrating our power. Love y'all. What I do know for sure is that when we fight back, we win. We've got to literally find our North Star. We can do this, y'all. Thank you.
second, but we got that.
And we are so grateful to
So
Latasha
grateful.
Brown for sharing that inspirational message.
And for the work that she has done to mobilize Black voters, to mobilize Black people to be both civically engaged, but also to I mean, she has, in a lot of ways, the work that she has done has changed the landscape of voting in the Black community, and we are grateful to Latasha for that. All right, so we have one last guest.
We're gonna go ahead and get him on up here.
He is the development director for the Louisiana Urban League, our dear friend, Liam Curtin. Liam,
welcome.
Hey, y'all. Brian Blandon, thank you so much. Everyone, thank you so much for being here tonight. It means a lot to us. We're really trying to be intentional right now about engaging our membership more often. So moving forward, whether you are a previous member, you're considering membership, if you're a current member, be on the lookout for more messaging from us about future events like this. I know we're going to have an in-person event later in September that we're still scheduling, so look out for that. We really hope to see everybody there. Something I really want to just highlight really quick. I thought Tyrone said something really great at the beginning when he was talking about philanthropy and how it can be, yes, financial, but it can also be your time, your talent, your skills, your energy. And I think that being here today is in of itself an act of philanthropy because you're making a commitment to be more involved in our movement and in our organization. And you're taking the time to become more informed on these down ballot races and on civic engagement. So I just want to thank everyone for being here. And I want to encourage you all to consider how you can be more involved. Something that would be really easy to do is just go to our website, navigate to our website and learn more about the things that we do at the Urban League. Something else that you can do is just look out for our communications and try to be more involved and come to our future events. So thank you so much to everybody for being here. We're really excited to have everyone. And shout out to Brandon and Blair. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Liam. We are so grateful for the opportunity to work with you and with the Urban League. This has been a whole lot of fun.
Tyrone, did you want to say something before we close? I wanted to. Nope. Okay, you're good. Okay, right. Just wanted to make sure.
Everyone, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you to our panelists, to Dr. Crystal Hooker, to the extraordinary Kim Boyle. Thank you to Liam Curtin. Thank you to Vice President Tyrone Walker. Thank you to the President of the Urban League.
Another phenomenal Black woman.
An extraordinary, phenomenal Black woman, Judy Reese Morris. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Please make sure, if you do nothing else after this broadcast, take this link from the YouTube and share it with 5 people. Share
everybody
it with 10
you know in
people.
Louisiana.
Do a big group text and say, look, don't reply, but click the link, right? Let people know. Do as much as you can to proselytize. Like Kim said, this is important enough to keep people from coming to the cookout if they are not willing to do what they can, at least the minimal amount, to go vote, to shape the future of our community.
Do the bare minimum, y'all.
So have a great night, everybody. Thank you all for joining us on a Monday night. We look forward to seeing you all very, very soon. And be well. Peace.
All right, love y'all.